Hey, boss. You gonna come downstairs? I got a customer asking for you.
You know I don't like to mingle with the customers.
Well, you may want to mingle with this one. She sounds like your type.
Well, looks like a quiet night in old Rubacava.
And just the amount of research that went into all of this, because I just remember Tim going to every film noir movie ever, and we would just, all the time, there would be something to do, and he's like, want to go to the movies? And it was just, I mean, you can see it, the dark shadows, and then the music. Mm-hmm. I mean, everything is just so film noir and really pulls you in.
Yeah, I remember us all going to see Casablanca. And I think it was in the Castro Theater or something. It was one of those old San Francisco theaters. I forget which one it was, but it was the whole gang of us went. And
yeah, remember? Did you guys go to the Golden Gate Fields for the horse races? I know they weren't.
I wish
that was part of it, because I think there were some scenes around that, and that was just fun. I mean, just the research trips.
Yeah,
those were fun. So Tim created a character, which I very much appreciate. I love her. Her name is Lupe, and she happens to be a little bit based on me and my idiosyncrasies. And so when I remember one time we were hanging out, and he told me, he's like, see, how can you tell me that I don't understand our relationship? Like, I can write about it. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, see, she's super organized. Nobody listens to her, but she has a lot of really important things to say. And see, we need her, and that's what you realize.
That's awesome.
So I was like, oh, I love you. And she does karate kicks. That was the best, like, because I like to punch people. And so if you notice, sometimes, I don't know if they have it in here, but she punches in the air. She does air punches.
That's awesome.
She was really easy to cast because I had such a great frame of reference for her.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
My wartime communications from Salvador. He's been sending me messages like this for the last year.
Agent Calavera, I have word that you arrived in Rubacava safely. This is great news, as your service to the LSA may now continue. I am pleased to report the successful hatching of the eggs you liberated. The hatchlings, which Eva has named Manny and Meche, are quite healthy and eager to serve our cause. With luck, my next letter will be borne to you across the sky by these young gossamer wings of truth. For the revolution, Salvador Limones.
I'm not done reading it yet, but maybe later.
Calavera, it is indeed a great day for the revolution. Say hola to little Manny, the first enlisted messenger to serve the LSA. Please feed him some breadcrumbs and send him back quickly, so we may know that our maiden flight was a success. Manuel, I am sorry to hear that you have not heard from your Meche. You must be patient and let your heart remain open. If it is meant to be, you will someday be reunited.
Ha! He still thinks I'm in love with her.
Manuel, we have found the head of the serpent. Using the computer access you provided us, we picked up a thread that led us to the man who corrupted the Department of Death. His name is Hector Le Mans. Once a small-time racketeer, he has grown fat and powerful by robbing the newly dead. Watch out for the name Hector Le Mans, Manuel. And be careful. Dear friend, our movement now has true momentum, and our numbers are rapidly growing. Much of this is due to our communications and intelligence systems, both of which we owe to you. In light of your contributions, I would like to announce your promotion to Special Agent status. I, Salvador Limones of the Lost Souls Alliance, salute you, Manuel Calavera. You are a great ally in this noble revolution. Great news. We've discovered a new secret talent of our tiny messengers. We don't know how they do it, but these mysterious birds can actually find their targets just by looking at a photograph of the addressee. To celebrate, Eva has made them all little berets. I'll send you some pictures. Manuel, I am troubled by reports of you buying the automat and converting it into a nightclub. It's fine for you to be comfortable in Rubacava for your long stay, but I pray you haven't lost sight of the larger goals. It is not this world, but the next in which our true glory lies.
I just got this one today.
Beware, Manuel, for you are in grave danger. Somehow rumor has spread on the streets of El Marro of your presence in Rubacava. If this information reaches Hector Le Mans, He surely will send his evil operatives after you. You must give up your search for Mercedes for the time being. And please, be out of Rubalcaba on the next ship.
I think he's exaggerating the danger a little, but I do feel pretty stupid for putting my name on the big sign.
I wish you would slide down the banister because we put a lot of effort into sliding down that banister. Come on, slide down the banister. I recommend any player who's in this room slide down the banister. It's much faster than walking.
Especially if you're 6 and you don't have terrible consequences when you hit the bottom.
You should not try that at home. Actually, kids, you should. You should go slide down the banister of your house right now.
Everybody's got to do it once.
Hello, Manny.
Hola! I guess Gladys is good at anything that uses keys. Quiet night, huh, carnal?
Day of the Dead ain't good for business, Chief. But last night, remember last night, Manny? Oh, wait!
What's that you're playing?
Oh, this is just a little, love song for a special lady.
Sing a little bit of that song, why don't you?
Well, I only have this part. Bone wagon.
I like it. You think she'll come in tonight?
Who, my special lady?
No, Meche.
You know what, Manny? I think she will. I got a feeling tonight's the night.
You know, when we leave, I'm actually gonna miss this place.
Aw, Manny, why can't we just stay here? We got our fancy club, we got 3 squares a day. Max lets me take the bone wagon out on his kitty track once a week. Plus, we look good in these clothes.
Gladys, I can't live in this world forever. It's not where I belong. I've gotta find Meche and help her. Because if it weren't for me, she'd have been on that train a year ago.
Okay, Manny.
Well, I'll let you get back to practicing.
I don't need to practice, man. I'm good.
I remember animating Manny sliding down the banister. And I remember Tim kept calling for something. He's got to look cool. And so I did that, and I don't think he was ever really happy with it. So I don't know. Apparently don't know what cool means.
Got to put some Ray-Bans on him.
Yeah. I mean, Manny's a suave guy, but I don't know if suave guys slide down banisters. Maybe I should have done it slower.
Ah, Marillo de Oro. A very fine liqueur filled with solid gold flakes. Nothing but the best for my customers. My rich customers.
I remember animating...
Yes, I better take this with me for safekeeping. Well, maybe just a sip.
Manny's music, the Casino Calavera music, is that was a big moment for me doing the score because it was done fairly early on, and it kind of it determined a lot of other stuff, just sort of stylistically.
Mm-hmm.
Get that sort of Gene Krupa thing going on in the beginning, and
Gene Krupa.
Yeah, one of the great drummers of all time.
I always wanted to have a really international flair. I guess because Casablanca was very international. But also I love the game Last Express, the Jordan Mechner game. Last Express, you're on a train. And there's a lot of listening to conversations that are not presented at full volume because you're eavesdropping. You're walking down a hallway and you hear someone talking in a room. But they'll often be very quiet, but often sometimes in another language, like French or German or something.
Mm-hmm.
And just the idea of like overhearing a quietly spoken French conversation was so neat in that game that we tried to have people talking in other languages in here, like that, the croupier and the gambling room speaking French.
Raymond, 13.
I have a bouncer for that, but he's busy playing the piano right now.
Red.
Police Chief Bogan, Rubalcaba's finest. Rubalcaba's only, for that matter. An honest roulette croupier is hard to find, And guys like this,
Mesdames et
even
messieurs,
harder.
faites vos jeux, s'il vous plaît. Ladies and gentlemen, please place your bets.
Everything okay down here?
I'm going to need some more chips if Monsieur Lucky does not call it a night soon.
You know, some people say you should always walk away from the table when you're on a winning streak.
Oh, yes, but I'm feeling extra lucky tonight.
Mesdames et messieurs, rien ne va plus. Les jeux sont faits. Ladies and gentlemen, betting is closed.
So these is like scenes are from the production of the game in a way where Leslie would come to me like, look what I made. I made a chart of every single scene in the game plus every single actor, and I coded it. Yellow means Manny's in it, and blue means this prop is in it. And she's so excited about these things that she did, and this character is doing the exact thing.
Yep.
You have to take things from your life and put them in your work, you know, even though they don't read anything to anybody else.
Well, that just means work will be about life rather than life being about work, right?
Exactly.
Looks like Lupe's been in the sugar again. Not my employees.
Manny!
Evening, Lupe.
I have to tell you about my new organizational system for the coats.
How's the flow tonight?
We're dead tonight, Manny. Everybody's back home for the Day of the Dead, I guess. Except for the casino. The casino's hopping. Why is it that all the people who don't go home are the same people who just love to gamble?
Well, I guess when you've got nothing to go home to, you've got nothing to lose.
Hey, we should put that over the door.
Everything okay back in the land of fur and fedoras?
Everything's in order. It's beautiful. I can't wait for people to come in and try the new system. It's so cool. Want to hear about it?
Okay, tell me all the details about your new coat check system.
Yay! Okay, I found all these plastic tiles in the back, left over from the automat, and guess what? They all have numbers on them. So what I'm doing is, I give one to everyone who checks a code in and... Manny, you're not even listening to me. I go to all this work organizing your coats, and you don't even care.
Lupe.
Forget it. Don't pretend to care.
No, I want to hear.
Hup. Oh, I'll tell someone else about it. Someone who cares.
Please, tell me all about your new coat check system, really.
Don't patronize me, Cal.
Okay, back to work.
Okay.
Meche?
Manny, help me. I've been lost for so long. Why didn't you look for me?
I did. You ran off. Why?
Because you said I was no good. I've been all alone in the world for a whole year. And it's all because of you!
This gonna be an annual thing with you, Manny? Every Day of the Dead, you toss your bones into the drink and I fish 'em out?
I don't plan to be around that long, Velasco. As soon as I find out where that ocean liner's going, I'm after it.
Ha ha! That ship's going to Puerto Zapato. That's the other side of the world. Ain't no ships going out that way but the old Limbo here, but...
But nothing. If the Limbo's my only hope, then I'm already on board.
Well, good luck, son. That's all I got to say.
That's Kay Cuter. And Kay was, I don't know, late 70s, early 80s. And he had a big, long, gray beard.
Yeah.
And he was a raging smoker.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
you'd have to break him every 45 minutes.
Oh,
otherwise, he'd start getting into a really bad mood. And on one of those sessions, he plays the croupier later on, where he speaks French and English, and it's just he delivers the numbers. We were behind on time, and so I sort of pushed him to an hour, and all of a sudden, I found myself in an argument with Kay over how to pronounce 20 in French.
Oh.
And so I was like, it's definitely time for a smoke break on. Yeah, get out of here.
That dock master Velasco is one salty old bag of rope.
You should see his wife.
Not a bad little ship in a bottle you got going there.
Yeah, well, there's that Rubicava craft fair next week, and also...
Here, let me help you with that.
There's some things a man's got to do for himself.
Hey, let me see that.
I'll break it over your head if you reach for it again.
All right, so I'm ready to sail.
On what?
On the Limbo, man. Let's go.
Manny, the Limbo's not a passenger ship. She's small cargo, son. And every hand on board works.
I'll work.
What are your skills?
Sales and restaurant management.
Oh, hey, there is one opening on the Limbo's crew.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's in the engine room. And your buddy Glottis would be perfect for it, but he'd have to get his own tools.
Okay, if I get Glottis some tools, can we board?
He can, yes. No offense, Manny, but there's just no place for you aboard the Limbo. She's fully manned already. In fact, her whole crew's on board, ready to sail at dawn. Except for that one guy.
Who's the one guy who hasn't boarded yet?
Yeah, well, Seaman Naranja's a little late, but he'll be here before they sail.
What job did Naranja have?
He ran the galley.
Aha! Restaurant management.
Yeah, it's similar to what you're doing now. Except the fish is fresher on the Limbo.
What if Naranja doesn't show up? I can fill his spot, right?
Manny, you're not even in the Maritime Union.
I know that, and you know that, but we're two guys who can keep secrets, right?
Glottis is exempt, but the captain will ask for your card. And if you don't have one, they'll serve you to the sharks like chum. And what's worse, I'll get fined. That's a tough union, boy, and I don't mess with them.
What kind of tools does Glottis need?
Authentic CB equipment only.
Where do I get authentic CB equipment?
Why don't you ask a CB? Afraid of getting stung?
Where do you think Naranja is?
Probably home selecting recipes for the trip.
What's going on in that bottle? A tugboat?
This happens to be a perfect scale replica of the SS Lumbago. I'm just having a little trouble getting the walking beam to fit in the neck here.
That's funny, because a lumbago is usually more of a problem in the lower back than the neck. Nothing. So let me get this straight. If I get Glottis some tools,
then I can get him a job on the Limbo.
And if Seaman Naranja doesn't show up for work,
but he will,
and I get a Maritime Union card,
which you'll never get,
then I can sail on the Limbo in the morning.
Jeez. I guess so.
I'd better go finish packing.
Aye, you do that, son.
Hey, sailor.
Quit fooling around.
It shone pale as bone as I stood there alone, and I thought to myself how the moon that night cast its light on my heart's true delight, and the reef where her body was strewn. Don't have that kind of equipment.
we definitely should give a huge shout out to Peter Chan. And yeah, I'm still jealous of that guy.
Chan the man.
I know. Just when those packages would come, it would just be like Christmas, and you'd open, you'd see those, and you just think, oh man, and he's a nice guy too. You know,
the weird
happy
thing about
family.
that was I never experienced like the delivery of the package firsthand, but I still got excited about it.
No, they're beautiful, and he's such a sweetheart. I think we're going to come up to Garv's set that I destroyed. That I destroyed 2 weeks of Garov's work by trying to learn how to 3D model, and somehow I ended up erasing 2 weeks of his work. Because it was the fish place that you had to redo.
Oh yeah, the elevator.
Yeah, the elevator and that place with the fish.
Le numéro gagnant.
Chowchilla Charlie in his regular booth.
Le 29. Noir.
Mind if I sit down, Charlie?
Of course not, Manny. I mean, it is your club, right?
Chowchilla Charlie.
Oh, yes.
That name comes from an actual person I know who was from Chowchilla, which no one remembers anymore, but when I was a kid, an entire school bus full of children was kidnapped in the town Chowchilla. Do you remember that?
No.
California.
Wow.
A school bus full of kids was kidnapped, and the people demanded ransom. And it was crazy to think about. It was on the news. It was
Jeez.
Chowchilla. Everyone was talking about this kids, and eventually they were found and rescued, and I don't believe they were hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I can talk about that story now.
Yeah.
And all the kids went home, but and then years later, a friend of ours was dating this guy named Charlie. And he was from Chowchilla, and I was like, oh, wow, were you on the bus? He was like, no, I was sick that day. I was sick. I didn't go to school that day, and so I didn't get kidnapped.
Wow.
And we always referred to him as Chowchilla Charlie.
Wow.
And he's now in the game as Chowchilla Charlie, even though his personality is not as sleazy as this character. He was a fine, outstanding, although very lucky guy.
Yeah.
But this is our Peter Lorre character.
Right. So what are you doing in it? Didn't I tell you not to come back until you can pay your bar tab?
Oh, or they kicked me out of that cat track for printing fake betting stubs. So now I have to come here, Manny, which I love.
How did you print fake betting stubs?
With this. Isn't she beautiful? The last time I was incarcerated, I shared a cell with the most dishonest con man I ever met. He was strictly small time, and I managed to steal this from him quite easily.
Thanks. You never know when this may come in handy.
Hey, give that back to me, Manny.
Maybe once you settle your bar tab, eh, Charlie?
Oh, Manny.
Why aren't you over at the roulette tables?
The roulette is for lonely widows and Frenchmen. Why don't you get some slot machines, Manny? Everybody, old women, little children, they all love slot machines. And I have a system, an infallible system for beating them.
I think slot machines attract an undesirable element.
Oh, well, we're all undesirable, Manny.
Yeah, but your credit's no good to boot. What else can you counterfeit?
Nothing. Anything.
Can you make reasonable union cards?
Manny, are you going to start moonlighting? Or are you just looking to hang out with the sailors?
Can you do it or not?
I have a deal for you. If you can retrieve my money from Maximino, I can make you president of that crooked union.
I don't need to be president. And why does Max have your money?
I put a whole suitcase of it up for collateral on a rather large wager last month. The race was fixed, Manny. They stole my money like common thieves. Here, take this VIP pass and use it to get into the High Rollers Lounge. They won't let me in there anymore. There should be a safe somewhere in the wine cellar, and my suitcase should be in it.
And you can get me a card tonight.
If you make it back, Manny, the card will be on the table.
Le numéro gagnant, le 6, noir, père manque, 6.
Check out this fancy pass to the High Rollers Lounge. Can you believe how full of themselves they are over there? I don't think their place is any more VIP than ours, do you?
I don't know. I try to stay away from that place.
Really? Why?
'Cause of my problem.
Gladys? Compadre? I can't believe I kept him from putting headers on that thing for so long. I'm not in that union. Ooh, ooh, Meche.